Sorry I lied to you all for so long. My name is Clark Kent, and yes, I am Superman.
Alright, what is going on, guys? It's Tazz here, and welcome back to the channel. Superman and Lois dropped another incredible entry into their final season with episode 7 titled A Regular Guy. We truly are in the endgame now, as this week saw the culmination of one of the largest overarching storylines from throughout this season. Ever since Clark came back from the dead, his identity has been a point of contention, as his secret he has tried so desperately to hold on to for his entire life has started to slip out into the open. Lex Luthor is not physically present this week, however, in the wake of last episode's street brawl, the aftermath is still being felt by Lois, Clark, and the rest of Smallville. We get a couple of smaller side stories this week as well, which once again all culminate by the end of the episode, wrapping up a couple of loose plot threads with a nice bow. Spoilers for the final season of Superman and Lois up through episode 7, but with that out of the way, let's super shirt rip our way right into this episode breakdown. Episode 7 of Season 4 picks up in the wake of the previous episode, as Lex has been driven out of Smallville back to Metropolis to recuperate after his fight with Clark. All the while, the Kents continue their search for any shred of evidence that can put Luthor back behind bars where he belongs. One of the largest through lines this season has been Clark's identity as Superman and the lengths that he, along with the family, have gone through in order to keep that secret. Clark's death and subsequent resurrection has only further raised the suspicions of the people of Smallville. We are treated to some amazing flashbacks that perfectly parallel the present-day storyline, giving us not only another glimpse at the early days of Superman, complete with the shirt rip, classic suit, and telephone booth changes, while also showing a deeper look at the heavy burden the secret has placed on Clark throughout his entire life. These flashbacks also introduce us to Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, however, the dynamic is a little bit different than you'd come to expect from these two. Since it's still the early days of Superman and Clark at the Daily Planet, he's hesitant about letting anyone else in on the secret aside from Lois. However, with a little bit of motivation from Lois Lane, Clark eventually agrees to join Jimmy on the softball team. The only caveat, of course, was his powers and getting drawn away from the games to make saves as Superman. Eventually, Jimmy starts to catch on to the fact that every time Clark misses a game, Superman is off in some part of the world saving people. In order to keep that secret safe, Clark not only lies to someone who was supposed to be his friend, but purposefully misses the championship game to further keep that secret safe. Back in present day, throughout the episode, Clark makes the effort to clean up the mess that his identity has left in Smallville, trying to convince the people who have become suspicious that they are mistaken and he's just mild-mannered Clark Kent. He talks to Lois and the boys about how important this secret is, how he's been keeping it his entire life to not only ensure his safety, but the safety of his family. John and Jordan, of course, are not the biggest fans of having to hold this one so close to their chest, as they want to live some semblance of a normal life, and that is tough to do when you have to lie to everyone you know. Clark gets upset when he learns that the boys did tell Candace about their secret as well, further emphasizing the difficulty a secret like this comes with. Lois tries to reason with the boys and tell them how difficult it has been on their father to keep this from almost everyone his entire life, and the fact that they keep this secret so that they can maintain the illusion of normalcy. The B-plot this week surrounded Kyle and Chrissy and their search for a new home for themselves and the baby. However, this presents a bit of a financial struggle for the two of them, resulting in the two having to sell important pieces of themselves in order to ensure a future for their family. Kyle puts his grill up for sale and Chrissy her half of the Gazette. When Lois and Clark find out about the lengths their friends have gone through, they decide to step in and help. They all meet for dinner at the diner where Clark and Lois offer to buy Chrissy's half of the Gazette so that her and Kyle will not only have enough to get their new home, but Chrissy and Lois can continue their important journalistic partnership. I've been pretty vocal about my lack of enthusiasm for the Kyle and Chrissy storyline this season. However, I did actually really enjoy the way it all came together this week and was capped off perfectly, solidifying their very important friendship with Clark and Lois. Unfortunately, we can't end the episode off on just a nice calm dinner scene, as Candace's father Emmett reemerges with a vendetta against Clark, or should he say Superman. That's right, Emmett knows Clark's true identity, piecing it all together after their encounter last season in the very same diner, combined with a little push from Lex Luthor off-screen. Emmett calls out Clark in the middle of the diner for the entire town to see as he brandishes a pistol. It was in that moment that Clark knew what he was going to have to do. Emmett fires a shot to prove his theory as we see Clark enter his version of Flash Time. He slowly removes his glasses, looks around the diner at the people and at Lois, one last time before he crosses the point of no return. The look on Lois's face is one of comfort and acceptance, almost her way of telling Clark that she knows what is going to happen and she is telling him that it is okay. We once again get a classic shirt rip as Clark reveals the Superman suit, transforming in front of everyone, blocking the bullet and saving the day. "I'm sorry I lied to you for so long," Clark says as he stands in the middle of the diner, fully suited up as Kyle escorts Emmett out. At home, Clark, Lois, and the boys make the biggest family decision of the entire series. Lex will just keep sending people after Clark and his family if he doesn't do something about it, and that something he needs to do will no longer give Luthor the leverage of Superman's identity. So we get the scene everyone has been theorizing on this entire season. Clark calls the planet for an interview with none other than Jimmy's sister, Janet Olsen, to reveal his identity to the world. "My name is Clark Kent, and yes, I am Superman." This was such a perfectly done reveal in such a fitting medium and at the perfect time in the series. This was something the show had been building to all season long, and for it to happen now, a few episodes out from the finale, is great as we get to see the immediate repercussions of such a big decision. Clark is both nervous and excited about telling the world his secret. However, he also wants everyone to know that, putting his Kryptonian heritage aside, he's just a regular guy. A fun detail that I loved was the fact that they actually repurposed the show's real crew as the Daily Planet crew during this interview scene, such a nice way to involve and give back to the people behind the scenes that make it all possible. Wrapping up the episode, we see Clark getting ready to go do something he should have done a long time ago. He leaves his glasses behind, fully embracing his new reality, ready to take on whatever comes next. Lex no longer has any power over Clark with the knowledge of his secret. He goes to finally talk to Jimmy in once again such a beautiful interaction. He's not mad or disappointed that Clark lied to him, but relieved that he gets to reunite with his best pal after all these years and learn about everything. Theories going into next week, Lex is back and we finally get to see the new business suit, clean shave, and his other suit. Luthor played more of a background role this week while still keeping his presence looming, and that is all going to come into the forefront in the next few episodes. We will be seeing Brainiac sooner rather than later, as well as we quickly approach the end of the season. TV Line actually confirmed in an article that we will finally see Milton Fine, aka Brainiac, appear in next week's episode, episode 8. I wouldn't be surprised if he is maybe the cliffhanger at the end, and the penultimate episode with episode 9 fully wraps up his storyline, leaving Lex as the final boss, so to speak, for Clark, Lois, the Super Sons, and the Steels to face off against in the finale. I'm not sure if I'm the only one feeling this way after the episode, or maybe it's just the copium talking, but it seemed like Clark was much sharper and stronger than he's been since his revival, maybe a sign of strength to come. On the flip side, maybe his suit is what truly protected him from the bullet, and without it, he might have been in trouble. Also, if those Superboy suit concept art leaks are legit, I'd hope we see them sooner rather than later. Overall, guys, while this was another slower, less action-heavy one this week, episode 7 ended up being one of my favorites of the season and maybe even the whole series by the end. It's always great to see a theory get confirmed, especially such a huge one with such massive implications in the direction of the rest of the season. I love the parallel to the ending of the Supergirl finale with Kara revealing her identity in a very similar way that we now saw with Clark, as well as of course a parallel to that comic panel I've been throwing into videos for weeks. Tyler Hoechlin gave the role of Clark and Superman everything he had this week, and perfectly played the dichotomy between his two sides, proving why he is the definitive incarnation of Superman. The devastating toll the Secret took on him throughout his entire life, and now that he's backed into a corner by Lex Luthor, that secret becomes negotiable. The reveal scene in the diner coupled with the interview was the best possible way Clark could have revealed his identity, starting with his hometown, revealing it in order to protect everyone, and then the world as a way to show Lex that he is not afraid of him. It's incredible to see the internet collectively loving this episode and the big reveal scenes. This was easily one of the best, most important, and impactful pieces of Superman and Clark Kent content we've ever received across TV, movies, and comics. We have the momentum we've needed to push forward into the final 3 episodes of the season and series. While it is sad that we are so close to the end, I know we're in for an amazing journey to the end of the road. But with that said, guys, I want to know your thoughts on everything episode 7. Were you pleased with Clark's identity revealed to the world? How will Brainiac play into Luthor's plan? And what big moments or theories are you most looking forward to in the final 3 episodes? Just let me know your thoughts on all of this down there in the comments below. But until next time, guys, it's been Tazz, and I will see you guys in the next video.